Welcome back to DM Prep. My name is Ian and I will be your DM for today. Today we are prepping episode 24 of the Gilded Troll Plays Curse of Strahd, which is going to be titled something boring like Castle Ravenloft. It's going to be essentially the first of what I expect to be 2 or 3 sessions of exploring Castle Ravenloft. And it's gonna be some stuff. Hello to everybody who's here. Thank you for being here on Christmas Eve of all days. Ridiculous data for me to be having a stream, but that's okay. Schneidlewave is gifting a sub. And thank you for that gift sub, Schneidlewave, and welcome to the gifted sub customer service. Uh, Thank you. Hello, Green Knight 44 and Shadows and Schneidlewave and Steph and everybody in chat, and thanks for being here. So this is Castle Ravenloft. Welcome to Castle Ravenloft. This is not the map that I wanted. What the hell is this? This is the exterior map. I don't want that. I want map 3. Yeah, here's the nonsense. Okay, so basically what we need to do is we need to find a way to make Strahd an absolute fucking nightmare. So, I meant to bring it up. How to run Strahd like an unholy terror. There we go. So I've been pretty heavily cribbing off of this guy's notes. Thanks, Guild's Bounty on Reddit. He's got a lot of notes about how to use Strahd like an unholy fucking terror in combat. Lots, so many notes. Many notes. So many notes. See all this crap? Alright, so we'll go through that. But the first thing that I want to do is actually look at Strahd's stat block. Let's see what this motherfucker's actually capable of. So the first thing that I look at when I look at a really big boss monster is screw the tactics that they tell me, screw the minions, screw whatever, the hardest are cool. I look at lair actions. These are things that just go off. These are things that the players have absolutely no control over, things that just happen. Well, I mean, I guess technically, if he's incapacitated, then... Hey, not just okay, Chris, how's it going? Yes, Reddit is a decent place to get inspiration sometimes, and other times it's just garbage. So, this one is my personal favorite. Until initiative count 20 of the next round, which is to say for an entire round, Strahd can pass through solid walls, doors, ceilings, and floors as if they weren't there. You can then pair this with his legendary action ability to move his speed without provoking. His speed's only 30 feet, but he's got spider climb, and usually there's going to be a wall within 30 feet of him. There's going to be a floor within 30 feet of him that you can just go through. And then once he's on the other side of the floor, he just starts spider climbing on the now ceiling. Targets any number of doors and windows, causing each one to either open or close. Closed doors can be magically locked until he chooses to end the effect or until Strahd uses this lair action again. Cool, neat. So he goes through a wall and then locks a bunch of doors and essentially buys himself a bunch of time, allowing him to recover. So basically the way that I want to run Strahd is I want to run him like a guerrilla fighter. That's G-U-E-R, not G-O-R. He will be using hit and run tactics the entire time they're in the castle, because Strahd knows that if he dies, the fight's over. If the players die, the fight's over. If literally anything else happens, the fight continues. So he will do whatever he can to get away to fight another day. So, okay, well, he doesn't have access to contingency because he can't cast 6th level spells. He doesn't have access to things like massively upcast hold person. Not that would work. 2 of them, one of them's undead, one of them is fey, and the other 3 are humanoid, so that works. There's a lot of stuff going on in chat. Shadows. Yes, there's shadows on this map somewhere, probably. Is that in his minions? No, let's see. Where do you see shadows? Any of my settings different? No, I didn't change anything, but I'm all laggy and shit. Yeah, I don't... OBS is crap. OBS is just a pile of garbage. I don't know how to fix it. Yeah, he can summon shadows with a... Interesting. Oh, right, he pulls your shadow. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that vaguely. Shadow. Yeah, okay. Summons an angry spirit. Meh. Uses statistic with a specter. That seems pretty meh. Makes an attack and then disappears. That's not great. Hey Panzer, how's it going? Yeah, my video is super choppy. It is what it is. OBS is crap, and Streamlabs doesn't exist for Linux. Targets a medium or smaller creature to cast a shadow. DC 17 charisma save versus becomes a shadow that obeys his command. So, meh. I don't think that those are really a big deal. So the thing is, I think it's a general rule that when you use a lair action, you can't use the same lair action the next round. So for the most part, I think Strahd is going to be spamming these two. Maybe if he doesn't need either of these, he can try and make a shadow, which honestly, shadows are pretty brutal against my party, especially with the oops, not that one. Especially with the inclusion of take 20s, because I can just say I've got a 24 to hit, do some pit and some necrotic damage, and let's reduce your strength. Even against, I don't know how many take 20s. But Gramps can be a shadow. That is correct. He can. Which is actually one of the ways that they can really wear Strahd down, because he has 18 strength, but if they land enough hits on him, they can start draining his strength. That's a thing that they could do. So basically, Strahd's going to be running away repeatedly. Essentially, anytime he starts to lose, he's just going to flee. And to start with, he's probably not going to be connected to the Heart of Sorrow. I don't think that I want to do that. But my idea for the very first fight is that the players walk into K7 instantly. I think I'm going to turn off dynamic lighting and just use Fog of War. Where's Fog of War? Really cool. There we go. Fog of War. Beep. All right. So we're going to do Fog of War. And we're literally just going to... It's fine. How am I doing the Heart of Sorrow? That's how I got a map of the castle. Yeah, Gramps got a map of the castle by being a shadow. How am I doing the Heart of Sorrow? So the Heart of Sorrow, I'm basically just going to run as written. The only thing I'm going to change is I think I'm going to increase it to 100 hit points worth of Heart of Sorrow, because 50 is just meaningless in the grand scheme of things. It's just not significant. So what I should do is I should go through here and polygon reveal, and I'm literally using keyboard shortcuts like this is GIMP. It's not, fun fact. For those wondering, I hit 2 to try to go to 200% zoom, because that's how that works in GIMP. But yeah, I'm going to reveal essentially the grounds around the castle, to just give them an idea of what they're getting into. And I'm actually just gonna give them that, because this is essentially it's the curtain wall inside of the keep. So I am just going to allow them to see that. And it might look like I am revealing the interior of the castle. But what I'm going to do right at the end of outlining the entire castle is I am going to, and here's another curtain wall, so I'm just going to go right through that. And then these are buttresses right here, so that's fine. And now I need to stop snapping to grid so I can go around this circular bit of wall. And then once again, we've got buttresses, which are definitely outside the castle, so it's fine for them to be able to see it. Now I can go back to snapping to grid. So now what I'm going to do right here, this is what we call a pro gamer move. I am going to invert my entire selection. Ta-da! Now I just got to reveal this last part. There. Now I've revealed to the players the entire exterior of the castle without revealing any of the interior. I've included curtain walls and buttresses, so that's fine. Yeah, Rubek would be able to crit once, and the Heart of Sorrow would just explode. Because that would be 4d8 plus 2d4 plus like 13 plus brutal critical. So it would be a lot of damage. And he could easily just pop it. So my plan for how the players are going to... could they sense something? I don't know what you mean. So the way that I'm going to run the Heart of Sorrow is essentially that when Strahd takes damage, it's going to look like he didn't take damage. His jaw will break and then completely reset itself. And it's not going to be... It should, in theory, key them into not being regeneration, since I'm describing it as happening instantly. But... Oh yeah, it says right here, a critical hit might dislocate his jaw, but only for a moment. His jaw quickly resets itself. So that's where I got that idea. So yeah, like they should be able to get the idea like pretty quickly. But so the way that I'm imagining this happening to start with is they should, in theory, expect to have to fight Strahd. There's just no universe where they're not fighting Strahd, and they should be aware of that. But here's the thing. Strahd doesn't actually want to fight them. Strahd would rather, let's be honest, not do that. Strahd would rather they just die without him having to do much of anything. So what Strahd will have done by the time they arrive here is called his entire small army of vampire spawn and other such undead. Here, let's get a list of undead creatures that I can make use of in Castle Ravenloft. Usable undead. We've got not a lot. We've got shadows, whites, vampire spawn. I think there's things down on the... Are those down whites in that one crypt? Where is Strahd? Strahd's tomb. Creature to enter teleport to the western alcove of Crypt 32. Oh, you just teleport between the two. Okay. Teleport trap. There we go. Okay, so nope. Where'd my teleport trap? Here we go. Between crypts 37 and 38, between crypt 37 and the wall south of it, crypt 38. Okay, so they are whites in crypt 14. Is there anyone in the group? Is there anyone the group has slighted so much they could be a revenant? Doubtful. Real talk. Rahadin, maybe, but I want to give them the win with Rahadin, so I don't want him coming back. They never really interacted with, what's the, weird. Entire thing, okay. They never really talked to the, Order of the Silver Dragon, so I'm not going to try and introduce that. That's kind of weird. But that's okay. So yeah, so there's whites. I think whites are going to be the big thing. Whites and vampire spawns. Stunny thugs. Strahd zombies. I don't think we need more than that. So, usable undead, these things. So, spiders? I mean, I'm looking... oh yeah, Rahadin is a token on this map. I've already deleted him. I'm looking for undeads. specifically. Mostly what I'm looking for is humanoids that I can use, actually. Usable humaniforms. Not humanoid, because that's a game term. We're going to go with humaniforms. So what I want to do with these humaniform creatures is cast Seeming on them. So Strahd does not have Seeming prepared on his stat block. That's fine. He doesn't need to have it on his stat block. Can I... What if I... yeah, let's delete this entire aside. That didn't help. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So the spells that he has on his stat block does not need to be the spells that he actually has prepared today. He has, by way of the Amber Temple, access to every single 1st through 5th level wizard spell. So we're going to make use of the entire wizard spell list. And number one, Strahd Trick. Seeming. Every single humaniform undead in the entire castle has the appearance of Strahd. Every single humaniform undead. So I will be throwing dozens of tokens at my players throughout the course of the castle that look like Strahd. And they'll never know whether or not it's actually Strahd until it's too late. Because if it is actually Strahd, he's going to do what he do and then run away. If it's not actually Strahd, they're not going to know until they kill it. And it was too easy. So let's read some of these notes. So a lot of these are like how to run him as a unholy terror the entire campaign. I'm not super interested in the entire campaign. I'm interested in, well, the not Strahds act like Strahd guerrilla tactics wise. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely anyone who looks like Strahd is going to hit and run. Every single not Strahd will... Is there a risk of the end fight being a TPK? Absolutely. If there was no risk, it wouldn't be worth running. You know, if you're running a final fight and you're not running it with the intention of making it difficult for the players, then is there a way to instill more horror as opposed to not taking anything seriously up until Strahd? So here's the thing. Sometimes it will be Strahd. So I am essentially going to, and by I mean Strahd, every single not Strahd will hit and run. Whenever the PCs figure out that it's never actually Strahd, the next time it's actually Strahd. So yeah, Strahd will appear just frequently enough for them to realize that sometimes it's actually him. So they need to take it seriously every time because he's a terrifying threat. And let's see what we can do to make him a terrifying threat. So the number one thing that he can do is charm. Will there be flavor differences in terms of combat descriptions? There won't, because that's the point of the illusion. The point of seeming is that they won't be able to tell the difference. Even if it's a wight who has sort of an awkward gait, the illusion would cause it to be very smooth and urbane, like Strahd would be. They take damage differently? Yes, probably. I would probably give them at the very least that. But I'm not going to describe the way they're behaving differently, aside from like the way they decide to attack. Every time they've seen Strahd, he has a sword on his hip. So when a wight attacks them and he's swinging a sword, makes sense. Maybe Strahd uses a sword. So yes and no. It might take them only a round to figure out whether or not it's actually Strahd, but that's enough, honestly. If it takes them a non-zero amount of time to figure out whether or not it's Strahd, perfect. Especially since, will I change all the tokens to actually look like Strahd? Yes. So what I'm going to do, I don't really use Roll20 tokens the way I'm supposed to. I track hit points on the token, but I don't use Roll20 stat blocks. I mostly just pull up D&D Beyond. So if I throw, for instance, a white Strahd at them, oops, wrong tool. So if I throw a white Strahd at them, I'll just slap a Strahd token in front of them, and then change its hit points to 45, change its AC to 14 for quick reference, and then run it from the D&D Beyond stat block and, you know, do all that stuff. But it will have Strahd's face on it. And then, so the reason that I want, so the very first time that that they encounter this not Strahd, it's going to be a vampire spawn. And they're literally going to melt Strahd in this encounter, and then they're gonna Strahd in this encounter, they're gonna melt him with the hammer of the Morning Lord, because the vampire spawn can't do jack shit about it, and they're gonna go, did we just kill him? And then they're going to go to the very next fight in the very next room, and Strahd's gonna show up again. And they're gonna go, what? That one wasn't actually Strahd? Is this one actually Strahd? And it's still not gonna be Strahd. It's gonna be a white. You know, and maybe I throw 3 whites at them this time. But essentially every single time. So my plan is that every single time they have any fight in the castle, I'm going to find some reason for there to be a not Strahd or an actual Strahd to encounter them at the same time. What verbal greetings am I going to use to scare them when he keeps reappearing? That's a good question. That's a very good question. Strahd greetings. So only vampire spawns and Strahd can speak. So I can only do it with those two. If it's a white or a Strahd zombie, then nothing. Even the puppet fight. I don't think I'm going to use Piddlewick. I hate Piddlewick. I think he's dumb. One thing you notice as you navigate around the castle, taking down individual after individual, turning and running away, or painting the floor with blood. Each form of person reminds you of a certain pale skin. I mean, that's cute read aloud text, but it's like, that's the kind of thing that they figure out, not, like, that doesn't sound like read aloud. Am I going to roll for which flavor of not Strahds or build encounters room by room? I was thinking I would just pick at random at the table. You know, if they're having a really hard time, maybe I'll throw 2 Strahd zombie not Strahds at them. If they're having a really easy time of it and I want to beef up a fight, I'll throw 2 or 3 vampire spawn not Strahds at them. Actually, I think vampire spawns are like, if I had to rank these in terms of difficulty, I'd say that whites are the most powerful, vampire spawns next, and then Strahd zombies after that, just because of their ability to deal with vampires with sunlight and hold vampires. So I would say that the whites are probably the most powerful of the 3 that I have. Let's find, because yeah, like we can say like these are the things that are already in the castle, but you know what? There's cooler undead that exist. So let's limit it to CR 6, because like let's search CR 2 to 6, see what kind of humaniform undead we can use. Ghasts are pretty neat. Ghasts. Minotaurs, those aren't gonna work. Reduced threat white. Banshees. So banshees aren't seeming works on non. Ooh, hell yeah, we're doing banshees. Hell yeah, we're doing yes, banshees are undead, and also banshees can replicate the ability that Strahd has to go through walls. Like that's just a thing that like they're just incorporeal, so they can go through walls. So that's cool. No mummies, that's weird. Phantom warriors are more of a they're more of a Argon Vostholt thing. Yeah, they'll look more like Strahd because they can go through walls like Strahd can. Yeah, let's do Thorn. Yeah, banshees are CR4. What is a deathlock? Like, what is this thing? Forging a pact between a warlock and a patron. Consequences of breaking that pact. Cool. Flame Skulls. More Flame Skulls. So we're going to throw some Deathlocks at him, too. So it looks like Deathlocks are warlocks who broke their pact. And let's say that Strahd is their patron. You know, Deathlocks are essentially particularly charismatic, ensouled Barovians who decided to try to make a deal with Strahd for power. So you learn the phrase Yeetapult. That's a word for one, but also what the fuck? That's a thing. So yeah, they're gonna run into a lot of Strahds. Flame Skull, Iron Spirit, Mind Drinker Vampire. How about we don't? Return, Transient Flame Skull, Withers, Beholder Zombie, Ghost Blade Eidolon. The phrase was ho ho, heave him into the Yeetapult. Okay, I don't think I want this thing. No. How about a giant shark skeleton? That's humaniform, right? Revenant, we already said we don't want to use. What the fuck is this? How about no? Vampire spawns, obviously. We could do Wraith, but maybe not. Bodaks are nasty. Gideon. How about Glanya Nather? She cool. She cool. She's a undead. All right, I got enough. Yeah, I got 6 different humaniform. Yeah, that skeletal Medusa snake thingy. Is there any limitation based on how many humaniforms you can fit into the seeming spell range? It is any number of creatures you can see within range, and the range is 30 feet. So all Strahd has to do is say, please, everyone, all of my humaniform servants, please meet me in the entry hall. And then have them crowd around him, which actually, this is only a 20-foot radius area if he stands like right in the middle. So we could actually get like an even bigger area if we picked better. I don't think he can go into the chapel. Even if he could, I don't think he would want to. But let's just say he says, everyone come to the entry hall. He just announces. And then, this is essentially, we'll just say this is 8 by 8. So that's 64 creatures just easily fit inside of it. So he has built this small army. There are as many as I need. Technically, you could get so many people within 30 feet of you. How many people can you cram in a 30-foot radius area? Is the chapel consecrated? I don't think the chapel is consecrated, but there's the holy symbol of Ravenloft in there. This isn't working. Whatever. I wanted to see how many people you can cram in a 30-foot radius. So the in K15. Let's go to K15. So the icon of Ravenloft is in here. And while within 30 feet of the icon, a creature's under the effect of a protection from evil and good spell against fiends and undead. So that's just true. Even if you're not attuned to it. I combined Icon of Ravenloft and Holy Symbol of Ravenkind, those two names. But the Icon of Ravenloft is in here. And it doesn't hurt Strahd, but it definitely makes it a lot harder for him to do things because of the protection from evil and good. So that's fine. So yeah, Strahd probably just doesn't like this place. Yeah, I mean, this is Bane of the Undead. Unfortunately, none of my players have turned undead. Yeah, they don't have that. Cure wounds, augury, yeah. So this isn't super useful to them, but it's the protection from evil and good is pretty fucking legit. So we've got a bunch of humaniforms. So Strahd greetings. Only vampire spawns and Strahd can speak. So the very first in K7, the first vampire spawn. We're gonna say it's Escher. No, it's not Escher. We're not gonna give him a name. Like we don't care about this vampire spawn because he's probably gonna get melted. We'll come in. Actually, we're gonna say that it's a banshee. We're gonna call it a banshee Strahd. The first banshee Strahd will come in and say that that will say you are unwelcome here. Be gone. That's kind of weak. You can see all these ghoulings are marching down the main hall at them as the beautiful people place. I'm curious what these gargoyles are, because I don't remember the gargoyles being here. After all the characters... So a lot of the first floor of the castle is written as if the players are welcome, and they're very much just not welcome here. You turned my invitation down last time. It makes you worthy to defile my halls last time. I invited you into my home repeatedly, and you spurned me then. I should return the favor. I like that. I like that. You have ruined everything you have touched. Many lives have ended due to your incompetence and malevolence. I invited you into my home repeatedly, and you spurned me then. I shall return the favor. And then, as he says that, the gargoyles, the 4 statues of dragons glaring down, they turn to regular things and they attack. Open my home repeatedly to you. Ooh. Open my home repeatedly to you, and you spurned me. Should return such kindness. Repeat, try to make repetitive use of the phrase breaking my toys. Does seeming affect voice? It does not say it does, but it also doesn't say it doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah. Alternatively, Strahd is a master illusionist. And he could literally just have his minion mouth a phrase, and Strahd casts Minor Illusion. Yeah. Trying to make repetitive use of the phrase breaking my toys. Taunt them with things they did that didn't help. Only use... Okay, this isn't Strahd greetings. So, we're going to do number 2, Strahd trick. Bucephalus. So, Bucephalus. Here's a cool thing. So here's a cool thing that Bucephalus can do. Bucephalus, if you're unfamiliar, nope, I don't want Nightmare Shepherd, I want regular Nightmare. Bucephalus, if you're unfamiliar, is Strahd's nightmare, his mount. And he has the ability as an action to transport him and up to 3 willing creatures within 5 feet of him to or from the ethereal plane. Drop a trio of vampire spawn Strahds literally onto the PC's heads. Fall. Cool. General Strahd tactics. Leave well ahead of... Yes, it is the name of Alexander the Great's horse. I was just telling Steph that earlier tonight. Yeah, Jables, you did lose track of time. You're late. You're late. Thanks for being here. Looking at a bit more of your question of how many humans you can fit in that area, there was a quick link a bit further down. That search is quite lengthy and seems if literally filling the area of 2,000 plus under seeming. Yeah, honestly, it's gonna be. Yeah, I had a feeling it was gonna be at least 100, if not hundreds. Like if you're cramming them into the area. Another cheap trick tactic for the Nightmare. Strahd can charm one of the PCs to be willing to travel with the Nightmare. So the thing with that, yes, that's definitely a tactic that Strahd can do. But the problem with that tactic is that it literally ends that PC. They're stuck on the ethereal plane forever. None of my players have anything that they can do to counter that ability. So, how fresh is Irina in both Strahd and the PC's minds? She died like 2 days ago, so very. Might have been 3 days ago. It was not long ago. Yeah, it was not long ago at all. Leave well ahead of nearing death. Do not use the Heart of Sorrow until the final fight. Save legendary resistance for hold vampires or similar action denial. So he can't charm as a legendary action, but takes Strahd's requests and actions in the most favorable way and lets Strahd bite it. So his action is usually going to be charm, because even if they make the save, they don't get immunity to it for 24 hours. What's the combat descriptive difference between damaging Heart Strahd versus not Heart Empowered Strahd? So if they damage Strahd and he doesn't have the Heart enabled, which he can turn on as a bonus action, so he can do that between fights, they'll damage him. And then on his turn, if he's not in sunlight, he'll regenerate. What I'm imagining is that generally Strahd is not going to regenerate in front of them, so it'll actually look like they're damaging him. And then he will run away, usually as a legendary action, and then literally in no more than 7 rounds, he'll be back to full health because he regenerates 20 hit points per turn. So, yeah. Yeah. General Strahd tactics. Number 3, Strahd trick. Charm Rubec and ask that he turn off the hammer because it is ever so painful. Also, maybe take it and yeet it off a fucking cliff. Yeah. Ask for it and yeet it off a fucking cliff. So the way that ask for it and yeet it off a fucking cliff. So running Strahd. Trusted. Nope. Brother. There we go. Politely ask them to turn off as it's hurting them, then unleash some sob story about how that sword belonged to his dearly beloved brother, and he's been looking for it for ages, and oh, won't you let me return the sword to my brother's grave? It would give me so much closure to have finally recovered the last of my brother's most precious belongings. Yeah, does Strahd's charm not fall into the category of make the course of action sound reasonable? It does not. And the reason for that is that when the charm lands, the charmed target regards Strahd as a trusted friend to be heeded and protected, which means that if the charmed target sees his friends attacking Strahd, they would be compelled to break up the fight. They wouldn't be compelled to attack their friends who are attacking Strahd, but they would be compelled to break it up because they want to protect their friends. Charming them doesn't mean their friends are no longer their friends, but Strahd is also their friend. So they would want to break up the fight as best they can. And then the charm literally lasts up to 24 hours. And they only get a save if Strahd or his companions do anything harmful to the target. And even then, they only get another save. So what I can do is I can charm them between fights. Number 4, Strahd trick. Charm them between fights. No chance to save until they're... Oh, it's only if someone does something harmful to the target, not even their friends. So they are personally attacked by Strahd or a minion. For the purposes of this effect, every creature in the castle. If I recall correctly, they don't have a whole lot. Yeah, they don't have a whole lot. Snurk's got a crit. That's it. Bunch of Cheerspirations. Oh, this is so tiny. You guys can't see this. Zoom 200%. There we go. Yeah, they don't have a whole lot. But yeah, they might burn them all on charm saves, and that's fine. If they're burning them all on charm saves, they're not burning them on other stuff. Snurk's got 4 take 20s. Other than that, not a lot of take 20s. Rubek, if I recall correctly, only has a +2 whiz save, and it's DC 15. So you need to roll a 15 or higher. Gramps is going to have a really good whiz save. And yeah. So, yeah, like, they can make whiz saves. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, they can make whiz saves. But here's a cool thing. A lot of Strahd's abilities say vampire or wolf form only, vampire form only. Charm doesn't. Strahd can turn into a bat and then charm them. Nesh has advantage on the save. Why does Nesh have advantage on whiz saves? Why doesn't Nesh have advantage on whiz saves? My companions. Strahd. View. Move this over here. Ah. Right. Advantage on saves against charmed. Cool. I forgot an edge was an elf. Are there going to be normal creatures throughout the castle? This is going to be the Murder Strahd 50 times battle. Definitely going to be Murder Strahd 50 times. Yeah, no, there's no other way that I can really see this going. It's going to be them trying to murder Strahd, and they're going to have to do it 50 times. If my players remember, they already know. So essentially, the problem that they're going to have is twofold. Number one, anytime they get close to killing Strahd, he runs the fuck away. Number two, anytime Strahd gets away, he immediately recovers back to full health over the course of 45 fucking seconds. And by virtue of flying through walls and floors and ceilings, not flying through, but like he can walk through floors and walls and then spider climb. By virtue of that, he can get so much further than they can move in 45 seconds. That... you know, it's almost guaranteed that he is able to get away and get recovered. The only way that they can force a fight is by using the last card that they haven't used yet, which is Strahd's Location, the Executioner. Your enemy is a creature of darkness, whose power are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him. I see a dark figure on a balcony, looking down upon this tortured land with a twisted smile. So what they can do is, if they actually fight Strahd, like they actually determine that was actually Strahd, he got away, but we damaged him. We did a good job. We did a good deal of damage. They can then go, and I think it's on map 2. They can then rush to the balcony, which is over here. And Strahd will be there. The thing is, it's not going to be Strahd staring over the edge. It's going to be another vampire spawn. And then Strahd's going to pop out of the fucking floor. And then he's going to use Gust of Wind to try and knock everyone off the cliff. Not going to work. 3 of them can fucking fly. No. 4 of them can fly. But yeah. They'll... Even if they do... So if I knock someone off, even if they do manage to start flying, they've already fallen 500 feet because it takes an action to start flying. They need to whatchamacallit, they're 500 feet down. They have to fly up for 5 fucking rounds, and against Strahd, that's a long time. But at the balcony is the one place where Strahd will not run away. This is the only place where Strahd will actually fight to the death. And whether or not they figure that out quickly is up to them. Yeah, so that's the thing. So technically, Strahd could just charm them, like, infinitely, like, pop through a wall, charm them, pop back through the wall. That really seems a little busted. He does have a final stand, yeah. And that's built into the book. It's, for this campaign, it's the balcony, because that's the card I drew. But let's see what other spells. Swap out a spell list. If you go into war, you switch out for more appropriate spells. Consider where your party is set to have their final battle. Pick whatever the spells off the wizard spell list are most advantageous. Let's check it out, shall we? Game rules. Let's click wizard. Spell levels. Cantrip. Oh my god, this is terrible. This is the worst. Okay, filter. Oh boy. All right, let's sort this by decreasing level. So here, let's Strahd's spell list. How many spells can he prepare? So he is a 9th level wizard with +5 in. So he can prepare 14 spells. Is that how many he has? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So he has 14 spells. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Obviously we need Seeming. For third, we obviously need Counterspell, because honestly, like, fuck spellcasters. I think we obviously need one more 5th level spell. Yes, Shield. Shield's a big one. Shield. Absorb elements. Control winds. Is that better than Gust of Wind? Gusts. Calm, moderate, and strong. Ranged weapon attacks. No. Strength save. Where's the strength save? Downdraft. Range attacks. Disadvantage. Strength save. Knocked prone. But only for flying. Okay, that sucks. That spell is terrible. Dance Macabre seems unnecessary. Dawn can eat a dick. Dominate Person could be good, but he's already got the charm, so that seems a little unnecessary. What's the goal in building Strahd's stat block? The goal in picking spells, which I'm assuming is, he is a controller. He is a battlefield tactician. That's what he did in his life, and that's what he's done ever since. It's done him horribly in terms of governing a county, but he is absolutely a tactician. He wants to control the battlefield. And he usually does that by way of empowering minions and disempowering the enemies. The undead haunting my halls, breaking my toys, and those unclean souls traipse through here. My one concern with that is it's long. And I don't know if my players are going to give him that long to talk. I'm going to hold on to it, though. I'm going to grab it. I don't know about for the first time, but let's far step. Bonus action, teleport 60 feet, and its concentration you can repeat it. He's not about funneling or stopping movement. He is about using spells tactically to... he's about using spells as force multipliers. Web would absolutely be something he would use. That actually sounds like a really good idea. Anything that makes his allies more powerful and his enemies less powerful. Honestly, I'm giving him Steelwind fucking Strike. Because fuck you. That's why. He's already used one of his spell slots on Seeming. He's holding on to the second spell slot for Seeming. But if 8 hours don't go by, if they don't spend 8 hours, spell is 6th. Tasha's Otherworldly guys. Yeah. I thought that might have been 6th, but I was getting to T in 5th, and I thought maybe it was 5th. But yeah, he's definitely going to use Steelwind Strike. Favorite controller spell for tight spaces is Cloud of Daggers. Yeah, it's really only great against minions. It's not fantastic against like bigger enemies. Maybe it continues as they mow people down, different voices, but it continues relentlessly mocking them. Yeah, could do that. So those are his 5th level spells. So let's continue into 4th. Banishment doesn't work in Barovia, just period. Charm monster, not necessarily. Oh. Charm. Humanoid. That means that Gramps is immune. I wasn't going to target Gramps with it anyway, because it's a whiz save. But that also means I can't target Elodie, because she's a Fae. So I can only target Snurk, Rubec, and Inej. So that's a good thing to keep in mind, because I was just looking at Charm Monster and I was like, ooh, that works on anything. But I don't... So the thing with Charm Monster is all it does is charm. Like, it doesn't do they're friendly, like they consider you a trusted friend. It doesn't do all that stuff. Dimension Door is kind of unnecessary given the fact that he can just walk through fucking walls whenever he wants. Make sure Strahd never goes right before the lair action. That's just something I definitely want to do. That said, it's not even really a big deal, because does Dimension Door even work? Yeah, it would definitely work. It's not a spell that tries to leave Barovia, so it would definitely work. He would definitely use Greater Invisibility. So what are the spells that are actually on his list? Greater Invisibility, Polymorph. I like Polymorph. I think Mold Earth only works on dirt. And yes, he does not want to ruin his own castle. He would not want to have to ruin his castle for in order to win. I'm giving him Autoluke's Resilience Sphere. Just because I really, really like that spell, and I think it'd be really funny. Getting the Lehman's secret chest. Wouldn't that work? Why wouldn't that work? 3 feet by 2 feet. But oh, it can contain up to 12 cubic feet of non-living material. Yeah. Sickening Radiance could be disgusting. The exhaustion ends if the spell ends, though, so not the best. Casting Sickening Radiance and then stone shaping them like to trap them on the balcony. They can fly, though. Although casting Sickening Radiance and then casting Stone Shape to just... Casting... We're going to go with Sickening Radiance instead of Polymorph. So casting Sickening Radiance and then locking all of the doors in a room would be really neat, because then it's like, you need to bust through that door or you're all going to die horrible deaths. So deal. So that's good for 4th. Let's scroll down to 3rd. So we've got Counterspell. That's the big one. We're going to grab Dispel Magic. Let's look at his spells. So he's got Animate Dead, Fireball, Non-Detection. I mean, Fireball's like, hell yeah. So that's 3rd level. Kind of handled. Fast Friends can fuck a duck. Fear's neat. Enemies Abound would be cool. What is Enemies Abound? Reach into a minute creature forced to make an int save. Everyone in the party has 8 int except Inej. If it's mean being frightened, failed save, lose the ability to distinguish friend from foe regarding all creatures it can see as enemies. Each time it takes damage, you can repeat the save. So one of the issues with Enemies Abound is that players... so as a DM, I have a vested interest, not in winning, but in telling a good story. If a player casts Enemies Abound on an enemy and it would make a great moment for it to work, then I am incentivized to allow it to just work. I have an actual incentive to allow the spell to work as intended. As a player, their only real incentive, generally, is to win, especially in a combat situation. So if I were to cast Enemies Abound on a player, they would do anything they can, generally, to justify ending up attacking the enemies anyway. So if the enemies are closer to Rubek than his allies are, he would just say, and I'm not, and this isn't a damnation of any given player, but if if I use this on Rubek because he's got god awful in, but the enemies are right next to Rubek and the Snurk is not right next to him, he'd go, well, I mean, this guy's here anyway, everything seems to be an enemy, I'm going to attack the thing that's right next to me. And that's totally reasonable. But, that kind of justification, like, there's always some kind of justification they can find to end up attacking an enemy anyway. So, while it could be fun, I think in reality it would end up being a nothing burger. So, those are my thoughts on that topic. What do we got? Life Transference, no. Lightning Bolt, no. Mouse, no. Phantom Steed, no. He's got a Busey. Remove Curse, you don't need that. I think we're pretty good on 3rd level spells. Beep, 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 beep. So one of the cool things about Strahd is that when he does end up attacking them, he has... Unarmed Strike, and he can do that as a legendary action, which means he can attack essentially 5 times a round. So if he were to use something like Spirit Shroud, which gives you an extra d8 damage whenever you hit a creature within 10 feet of you, that's an extra 5d8 damage per round. But real talk, this is Strahd von fucking Zarovich. He's CR 15. He ain't got time for 5d8 damage. He's going to throw a Fireball out to do, let's be real, not a whole lot of damage. Actually, Fireball kind of sucks because they're pretty good at deck saves. Inej has evasion, and yeah, Fireball's just not great. So let's find a better one. Honestly, he doesn't need another 3rd level spell. Counterspell and Dispel Magic is going to take up all of his slots. So we're just going to go with those 2. So let's move on to 2nd. Web's a good one. Darkness. And if he doesn't have Devil's Sight, he does now. Senses. I mean, you don't get a name like the Devil Strahd without having Devil's Sight, so he has Devil's Sight. Fireball's more of a fuck you move. Yeah, I mean, I guess. So the question is, how does Strahd actually win the fight? So when the players win the fight by reducing Strahd's hit points to 0. Duh. How does Strahd win the fight? Strahd wins the fight by knocking every single player out of the fight. Every single PC. He needs to remove them from combat, one way or another. He can do that by damaging them. He can do that. How do I make the map? So this is Roll20. I just bought the Roll20 module. It came with the map. Didn't do anything special. This is just a thing that was provided to me by Roll20. Does he have any desire to kill them or just get them all out of the fuck out of his house? He definitely wants to kill them. But the thing is, he is but one man, and they are 5. So if he just goes at them on his own, he's going to lose. But the thing with that is that he can always scatter. Is that a 5th level spell? Oop. Scatter. Scatter. It's a 6th level spell. Damn it. Oh, it has to be a space you can see. Damn it. Damn it. Okay. So one of the things that I saw a little earlier. So I want, if you keep Firewall, perhaps give Strahd a few potions of maximum power. What? Very confused. Strahd has a way to heal. Strahd can heal himself by just not being in sunlight. He just regenerates. Maximize all the dice on a damaging spell. Is that a thing? Whoa. Neat. Cool. Yeah, it's will mount. Yeah, never heard of that before. That's cool. So one of the things that I saw when I was prepping for DM prep was so you're supposed to have Strahd like in his tomb, blah blah blah, whatever. Hey, Lycan Dragon, how's it going? Merry Christmas to you too. There's these teleport traps here that teleport you into Tomb 14. Is there a map for that? Of course. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. So it's just this fucking pit with a bunch of coffins in it and a bunch of whites, and it swaps you with one of the whites, and then there's no way to get back. Oh, hey, it's officially Christmas in the UK. Well, Merry Christmas, Shadows and Lycan. So it swaps you. So essentially what that does is it allows you to separate the group. It makes the group fight separate fights. And essentially what I want to do is I want to take that and move it. Ooh, yes! I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in Ravenloft map 2. We're going to put some teleport traps. And it's literally going to teleport you into the fucking basement and you get to fight on your fucking own. So we're going to put some teleport traps. And then we're going to have some Strahd. So we're going to throw a Strahd here, out of sight. And then we're going to throw a Strahd here. Delete that. We're going to throw a Strahd here, out of sight. Then we're going to throw a Strahd here, plainly visible. So what they'll want to do is they'll want to run forward and murder Strahd, and then someone's going to get teleported away, and they're going to go, oh, fuck, what just happened? And then, can he polymorph into anything large and flying, maybe to attempt to claw and toss PC downstairs? I don't think he can. I think he can only turn into a bat in terms of flying things. Yeah. Tiny bat, medium wolf, medium cloud of mist, or back to his true form. Good thing Strahd hasn't set any glyph of wardings throughout the place. Where do you draw the line with fun with teleportation, or is it just gut check? So yeah, I think it would be cool to have to fight your way back up from the basement. Running that So the video I watched had that happen from the basement. They got teleported from the basement to deeper in the basement. And essentially, you're not that far. Like, there's a bunch of whites there, but, you know, you can just disengage and run the fuck away, climb out of the tomb, bust the door open, and then, oh shit, I'm in the tomb again. Let's go back to, you know, let's go back to the area that I was just fighting, which is, you know, right around the corner. You know, so you suddenly get teleported from here into a coffin. You bust out of the coffin, you're like, oh god, there's a bunch of coffins here, what the fuck? And then you climb up through the ceiling, and then you're up here, you bust out of that tomb, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm in the fucking tombs, let's run in a direction, and then you run here. So, like, 3 rounds to get back to the fight. In the meantime, Strahd is fucking right off, and doesn't really care about you. Or he, I presume we'll add Misty Step. Yeah, good call. Misty Step. I would have gotten there. I just got distracted by other stuff. But yeah, maybe it doesn't go to the basement. You know, maybe this teleport trap doesn't go to the basement because that's a little redonkulous. So where can the teleport trap go to? Just somewhere far enough to take you out of the fight for a moment. I've got 13 out of 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I count 12. Yeah, I got 12. So I still need 2 more spells. Let's pick them. So yeah, let's figure out where this actually takes you. You know, not to the basement. Fireball is still in your head for a second. Oh yeah, I don't have fireball. So let's say it teleports you on top of this fucking tower. You're on top of a tower all of a sudden. It's just like, fuck. And let's say that the real Strahd von Zarovich is actually right here. Let's say that. You know, he's not, he was never down by the, he was never down here to begin with. What is this acolyte doing here? Get out of here. He was never down here to begin with. There's 3 decoys of Strahd. And when you get teleported up top, it's you versus Strahd now. And he gets to murder you one-on-one. Get fucked. I actually really like that. So the card tells you, go to the balcony. But Strahd's not even at the balcony. But the... How do those teleport traps actually work? Dispel magic. No save. Any creature that enters one of the 10-foot square spaces is instantly teleported away. So it is guaranteed that anyone crossing that gets teleported to Strahd. So the way to get to Strahd is to go to the balcony, and you'll get teleported up to him. Everything with an open window can be a balcony. Yes, you are correct. But this card specifically refers to this overlook, technically. But maybe they don't know that. Maybe it does actually refer to this area. So here's the cool thing with this area. If you look at this map, there's like this red glow coming out of this room. That's because this is the Spires of Ravenloft, and we've got the North Tower roofed. Where's a map? There we go. So that's this area, K57, K58, K20 here, and the Heart of Sorrow is actually right here. The Heart of Sorrow. So essentially, Strahd is guarding the Heart of Sorrow, and we can even use that as an indicator, like, hey, he's drawing power from this thing. He just, as someone teleports up, Strahd's first turn is bonus action, pull magic from the Heart of Sorrow, and then he just has this, like, boom, 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 this glowing red light on him the entire time he's fighting up here. And it'll probably end up being, like, single combat, and I really, really hope it's Rubec so that I can charm him, take the hammer, lob the hammer off the fucking balcony, and then bite the shit out of him because he's charmed. So yeah, so that is that's a thing. I still need to pick 2 more spells for him. So let's do that. First, what I'm going to do is I am going to... So basically what I want to do is I want spells that massively change the way that we're fighting. Greater Invis doesn't do a whole lot of that. If he's going to use his action to cast something, like, does Web... So Web is concentration, which is kind of pyrotechnics. I've never used pyrotechnics, real talk. Choose an area of non-magical flame you can see. Needs non-magical fire. So it's con save versus blinded or heavily obscured, which is literally just fog cloud. AoE blinded is pretty neat. So that's cool. But if you're going to do smoke, you might as well just use fog cloud. But if Strahd's going to cast pyrotechnics for smoke, he'd be better off just casting darkness because I've decided he has Devil's Sight. But AoE blinded is pretty legit. The question is, where is there going to be fire? Gramps has fire in his lantern, but that's magical fire because he casts continual flame on it. Buffing the not Strahds for a fight. How does? Darkness only helps him with his own Devil's Sight. Yeah, but, you know, the smoke would do the same thing. It's heavily obscured, which means that everyone inside of it is blinded. Yeah, only Strahd has the Devil's Sight. None of the players have it because none of them are warlocks. But, you know, the smoke is essentially a great equalizer. It turns advantage into a straight roll. It turns disadvantage into a straight roll. So if you're at a disadvantage, it'll equalize it. If you're at an advantage, it's going to equalize it. So it can take an unbalanced encounter and make it balanced. But it can't do anything more than that because of the way it works is that so since the area is heavily obscured, you making the attack are effectively blinded, which means you have disadvantage in the attack roll. But the person you're attacking can't see you either, so they're effectively blinded, which means you have advantage on the attack roll. So if you had advantage before, you now have double advantage and disadvantage, and it just cancels and becomes a straight roll. If you had disadvantage before, you have double disadvantage and advantage, and they just cancel and become a straight roll. So that's how fog cloud and other such areas of heavy obscurement, including darkness, generally work. Like that's how they work. The other cool thing about darkness is that it turns off the hammer. The hammer's light cannot penetrate magical darkness. The hammer doesn't say anything about that. And even if I look up Sunsword, which is, you know, the item that the hammer is cribbing off of, like this is the thing that it's supposed to be. You know, it says, it's literally just like its magical properties are literally just Sunblade. And it said it emits bright light in a 15-foot radius, dim light for another 15. It's sunlight. So that's all it says. But if we go to the darkness spell, creature with dark vision can't see through it, and non-magical light can't illuminate it. Can the Sun Sword's light penetrate the darkness spell? Sunblade versus darkness. Oh, the darkness spell does not suppress magical light. Neat. Cool. Hey, thanks for following, Yarkanaut. I don't have the alert box on DM Prep because there's no Streamlabs for Linux. But thank you for following. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. So yeah, darkness isn't going to work against... Okay, good to know. Good to know. So darkness does not work against the hammer's light. Good to know. So how about Tasha's Mind Whip? What's that do? Single target slow. How about we look at the slow spell? Because that's a really good spell. slow. Up to 6 creatures of your choice in a 40-foot cube within range. Each target must succeed on a whiz save or be affected by the spell for the duration. Their speed is halved, -2 penalty AC and dex save. Can't use reactions. And you get an action or a bonus action, not both. Hey, thanks for the Prime sub, Yarkanaut. Thanks for continuing to be here. Thanks for the continued sub. Yeah, that's much better than not being followed. So I'm gonna throw slow on the 3rd level spell list because it is nasty. And if you attempt to cast a spell with the casting time of an action on an 11 or higher, they need to use their action on the next turn to complete the spell. Oof. It is a whiz save, which means the party's pretty good at it. Snurk has proficiency from being a samurai. Gramps has proficiency. I don't think an edge has proficiency unless... No, rogues get dex as their strong save. But an edge does have a +2, maybe 3. Which of his spells require continual line of sight? None. No spell in the game requires continual line of sight unless it requires that you continuously target them. So he could cast Darkness and then fuck off through a wall. He could cast Slow and then fuck off through a wall. He could cast Sickening Radiance, fuck off through a wall, lock the doors. So, like, that's... Woof. It's nasty. Also, just make sure Strahd never goes right before the lair action. I don't need that. Because even if Strahd does go right before the lair action, he doesn't always need to go through walls. He can just use legendary actions to run away. Concentration doesn't mean much of anything then. Yeah, that's absolutely true. When you're able to just run away and not be in the fight anymore, concentration is kind of disgusting. I almost think I'm running out of spells to pick. Like, he has the big ones. Does this gust of... Oh, you know what? Gust of Wind. Gust of Wind. And that's just to knock people off of stuff. So, for instance, if Snurk is the first one to go to the thing, and Snurk ends up being the one to fight Strahd alone, Strahd can just reposition, shove him off the castle, and then Rubek runs up into the teleport, and Rubek ends up here, and then Strahd charms him, and he takes the hammer and throws it off the cliff. Just I think this could be really cool. So I'm gonna grab this guy, and I'm going to put one right here. This one doesn't teleport you. Does teleport go to a random place or a fixed location? Thank you for asking. Teleport destination. So we're going to turn on the nameplate, make sure the players can't see it. So they end up teleporting to here. And then Strahd is right here, but he's in the GM layer for now because I'm gonna essentially show my players this entire fucking map because it's it's the exterior of the castle. Like, why not? I am going to move this guy to the GM layer as well. But yeah, so this is what I'm gonna be doing. Yeah. I just wanted to clarify what I'd want to know, even if it seems common sense. Can they see the red glow from the main map? They can see the glow here, yeah, because it's baked into the actual map file. Don't know that they would definitely actually be able to see it, like, as they walk up to the castle. Like, if I look up a picture of Castle Ravenloft. So this is not quite the right perspective, but this big tower here is this tower here. So the bridge between these two is a little... Actually, I don't think that bridge is there. I don't think that bridge exists. There's no bridge to this tower. That's weird. It's really weird. Okay. There's the isometric. But yeah, I think they would be able to see that glow. Yeah, see, right here. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. We're going to make this real big. So this is the northmost tower, and you can see the red glow here. Are they going to see glowy eyes, ravens, crows? Absolutely. Why would they not? That's just fucking awesome. Where is this scene from? Do I have any clue? Not a fucking clue. It appears... Oh, that's way north. Like, that's north of Lake Zarovich, if I had to guess. Just based on the perspective of the towers. Yeah. But yeah, there seems to be this really weird... Like, there's always this bridge between the two tallest towers, and that doesn't seem to be supported by the actual map. There's only a bridge between these two, I think. Yeah, because, like, that's the High Peak Tower. Yeah. Huh. This is North Tower Peak. This is High Tower Peak. Yeah, weird. Is Strahd's castle always in a perpetual eve? I mean, yeah, basically. I mean, all of Barovia is perpetually kind of darkish. So these are my high-level plans for how to run the castle. Essentially, just Strahd attacks anytime they end up... Strahd attacks anytime they end up, fighting literally anything else in the castle. If they go into a room and there isn't already an encounter there, there's no encounter. Strahd's not going to just pop out and attack them when he doesn't have any... as I'm sure he is aware they can go invisible. Absolutely, yeah. That is definitely a thing he would want to do. I think that's my 14th spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That gives me 15. What do I want to get rid of? What do I want to get rid of? I honestly think Web, maybe. Because I think his actions are too important for just Web. Slow is the kind of thing... Like, slow is the kind of debuff I want to throw on everyone. Web is meh. Not to mention that the party is generally pretty fucking good at dex saves. Rubek has very high dex save mod, or dex mod. Inej has a high dex mod and dex save proficiency. Snurk has a high dex mod and I think dex save proficiency. So, is there a safe room? So there is a safe room in the chapel, but not even really as a deterrent, not a ban. That is correct. They're not safe anywhere in the castle. They're not really safe anywhere in the castle. And there's even check for a random encounter every 10 minutes. And the first time they enter an area that isn't otherwise occupied, I roll for a random encounter. They only encounter on 18 or higher. Would anyone try to stop them from running away from the castle? Probably not. No, I don't think so. The Strahd at this point knows that they are trapped. He does know that they're trying to leave Barovia. But honestly, he would be totally happy if they just fucked off. They have stated their plans to try and get people out, but I have not yet decided, and I'm thinking probably not, whether or not Strahd is aware that they plan to get other people out. So I don't think Strahd... I think Strahd would totally be happy with them just leaving, because that means he lives to fight another day. So I think he would totally just let them leave. If they decided to retreat and regroup. And honestly, that would probably be like the smartest thing they could do. Because that essentially costs them nothing. Strahd doesn't really have the mass of force that he would need to really meaningfully threaten them in combat. The next time, if they're dumb enough to camp on a road, then he would absolutely send a buttload of wolves at them. Like a buttload. Like 40 wolves. But they have enough AoE that even 40 wolves aren't really an issue. But maybe Strahd would attack them, when they try and rest on the road. But then, of course, he would just fuck right off as soon as he is in danger. And since he knows he doesn't have the benefit of his lair actions, he would engage them with the Heart of Sorrow. Just to give him the extra 100 hit points and, the buffer. Not super relevant to this DM prep, but how would you change the castle if they retreated and came back another day? That's a good question, and I don't know yet. So come back next week after they've run away. I think if they retreat and come back another day, if they plan to retreat and come back another day, what I would do is I would just shut the castle to them. I would shut all the gates and the doors and lock all the doors, and they would probably just say, okay, well, we fly in because fuck you, that's why. But of course, Strahd would see it coming, and he would crush them. Strahd uses stone shape to reorganize the castle. I mean, he could do that, but that'd be a lot of work. But yeah, so here's the thing. Strahd, at this point, has very little power. He is actually, in my head, Strahd is afraid of them. Mostly because of the hammer. He knows that if he gets rid of the hammer, then they can't destroy him permanently. He doesn't know that Gramps has Dawn yet. So, if Gramps does break out Dawn and cast it on Strahd, that's going to be a wake-up call for him. He's going to go, oh, fuck, and run away immediately. Like, literally at the end of the turn that Dawn is cast, he's going to legendary action, run the fuck away. So that's a thing that he would definitely do. But, at this point, he thinks that the Hammer of the Morning Lord is the only thing that can kill him. So he knows that he just needs to get it away from them, and then he needs to try and find a way to destroy it. So if he takes it from them and they don't recover it before leaving, then he's going to do everything he can to try and destroy it. It's going to go poorly, and he's probably going to end up hiding it in the castle. If they get away with the hammer, then he's going to send everything he can at them to try and get that. Would he try to counterspell it? Would he recognize Dawn being cast? So the way that I'm going to run Counterspell is that he is going to be able to recognize the level of the spell being cast, but not the specific spell. Unfortunately, that's not really going to work fantastically at the table, because Jordan's just going to say, I cast Dawn. And I'm going to go, okay, let me pretend I didn't hear that. So it's kind of rough. It's difficult. He would not recognize Dawn being cast because it's not a wizard spell, I don't think. I know it is a wizard spell, so he would actually know about it. Oh, it's Xanathar's. I hope none of these spells are Xanathar spells. I think Sickening Radiance is. Yeah, Sickening Radiance and Steel and Strike. Those are Xanathar spells. So the thing with the Amber Temple is that you only have access to spells in the player's handbook at Amber Temple. But let's just say that Strahd, cooked up Sickening Radiance and Steel and Strike. Do I allow recognition of the spell if it's on your spell sheet? I've never actually decided how spell recognition works in terms of Counterspell. I think mostly I just allow you to know what spell it is because of the way that play happens at the table. No one says, I'm going to cast a spell. And then, the DM would go, well, what spell are you casting? And then the player would ask, well, are you going to counterspell it? And it would just slow things down a lot. Oh, yeah, Rubek has Sunbeam. When I ran the fight, one of my players cast, I think, Sunbeam or some other spell at Sunlight. It was prior to the heart being destroyed, so we used the heart for the damage, and I said something along the lines of, Strahd smiles and looks up to the light and says, it's been so long. Yeah, no, I absolutely plan on doing that if he has the heart and someone uses sunlight on him. Like, he's going to, bake. Like, his skin is going to bubble and bake, and he's just going to pretend it feels good. And, the skin's going to bubble and bake and then not take any damage. So, yeah, that's definitely something I plan on doing. And then, of course, on his very next turn, he's going to do everything he fucking can to murder the guy who dared. But I think that's DM prep. I've only been here for an hour and a half. I think that's good enough. There's obviously... obviously, figuring all of this stuff out is great if you already have an understanding of the castle. I've run Curse of Strahd before. It's been a few years, but I think I have a good enough idea of how the castle works that, you know, my players can say, okay, well, how do I get from here to here? And it's actually super helpful to me that Gramps has seen the model of Castle Ravenloft, because you know, they don't have to wander around aimlessly. Gramps can just say, okay, well, you know, we want to go to this kind of room. Where is that, and how do I get there? And I'll just describe to them, you know, the first thing they're probably going to do is they're going to want to say, you know, I go to the dungeons and try to find, what's his face? And I'll just say, okay, well, you know, in the entrance hall, turn right, turn left, and there's a spiral staircase, and that leads right now. Done. Wait, up 80 feet to map 11. This is map 3. Oh, they renumber the map? Oh, up 40 feet to map 3. Okay. Yeah, okay. When do you decide something was bad enough that the enemy is going to target them specifically? Honestly, did I go over the elevator? I did not mention the elevator. The elevator is a nightmare to figure out if you're reading the book. The elevator's super easy, so I'll go over the elevator real quick. When do I decide something was bad enough that the enemy is going to target them specifically? Anytime that single action is enough to meaningfully threaten their life. So if someone casts any kind of sunlight, whether it's the hammer or sunbeam or dawn, Strahd's going to go, okay, you need to die specifically. Anytime someone critically hits him, you need to die specifically. Anytime someone does like 50 damage in a turn, you need to die specifically. And if absolutely everyone has pissed him off, if everyone has done something like that, he's just going to run away. So that's how that works. It is a nightmare. That's why you ask for future. Yeah, okay. So here's the thing. All right. Where the fuck is the elevator? Okay. So we're going to go... Not really. Where's the elevator? Is it down here? Yeah, okay. So here. All right. So in the Larders of Il Omen, there is this elevator. It's this trap right here. It's a 10-foot square area. There is essentially an elevator sitting in this hallway, disguised to look like the rest of the hallway. This is K61, so we're going to go to K61. It's called Elevator Trap. And there's all these fucking diagrams to try and explain how the fuck it works. But essentially, like, this elevator is just disguised to look like the rest of the hallway, but it's got a portcullis on each side of that, you know, section of hallway. If you step in the elevator flies up to the like the 5th floor or some shit. And then once you get up to the top, or while you're... Yeah, magic sleep gas fills the compartment as it rises, and a creature trapped inside must make a DC 15 con save or fall unconscious. At the same time, a 10-foot cube of granite suspended from heavy chains descends on this half right here, and, you know, it smashes there. Weighs thousands of pounds, pulverizes anything in space. So if some idiot decides to stand there while the elevator is going up, then crush. So all creatures trapped inside the elevator, including unconscious ones, roll initiative, takes 1 round to reach top of the shaft, and then each creature has a turn to act before it comes to a dead stop. Conscious party members can take whatever actions they want. Unconscious ones can't do jack shit. If you search the ceiling of the elevator, you find a secret trapdoor in the ceiling to get out of the thing. If you're on top of the elevator when it reaches the top of the shaft, because you decided to find that thing and then climb up while it's flying up, you get squished for a bunch of damage. Why you would do that, don't know. So once the elevator is at the top, it's essentially right below this, and the portcullis is open, but who cares? You can't go anywhere from there. Let's see, and then it remains at the top of the shaft until you reset the trap. Sound of the elevator, characters are trapped are easy prey for Strahd. So essentially, once they end up here and the group is split up, which is the big thing, they end up just below this trapdoor in K47, and they can just lob fireballs down there. And if you look at K47, there's a portrait of Strahd here. It's very pretty. He's a very handsome man. The rug is a rug of smothering. and the portrait is a guardian portrait. So if they decide to climb out of the trapdoor, they get attacked, and then you can just have Strahd like throw fireballs into the elevator. Or since the elevator trap is really loud, you can just have whatever the fuck is down here, like Cyrus or this black pudding or whatever the fuck. You can have that attack the other half of the party. The big problem with the elevator trap isn't how complicated it is. It's how much of a fucking nightmare it is to run once the party's been split. Because the elevator triggers when, I want to say 400 pounds of pressure is applied to it. So usually that's going to be 2 of your party members, unless you've got like nothing but halflings and fucking gnomes. In my case, it would be essentially like Rubeck and any other, or Gramps and any other. Actually, Snark only weighs like 80 pounds. So it would be like Rubeck and an Edge, or Rubeck and Gramps, or, you know, but like best case scenario for the players, 400 pounds, but Elodie doesn't trigger anything. I mean, she doesn't. For my group, best case scenario is essentially that everyone but Snark goes up. Actually, that's not possible. Because Rubeck and an Edge would trigger it. Rubeck and Gramps would trigger it. Yeah, they're kind of fucked. Like, no, best case scenario is everyone but Gramps goes up. So what would happen is, let's say everyone but Gramps and Elodie. So Rubeck goes in, Snark goes in, combined they have like 380 pounds, and Edge goes in, triggers the trap, it goes up. And then Gramps and Elodie just fly the fuck up. Follow the damn thing, and then fly through the walls of it. So the really weird thing is that once the elevator is at the top of the shaft, the portcullises retract, but while it's at the top of the shaft, it's literally in a shaft. And like, so in this area, like you can get to a secret door, but the elevator is in this area and the portcullis is open to reveal a wall. And the only way out is through the trapdoor. So I don't understand why the portcullis is open when it's not at the bottom. I don't know why. So I would, personally, I would just say the portcullises only retract when it's at the bottom. That's how I would do it. Personally. Should make it a little bit clearer, like, hey, you can't get out that way. You need to, like, go somewhere else. So yeah, that's the elevator trap. I don't think it's fun. I think it's actually kind of garbage. You know, all it serves to do is separate the party in a way that is very, very, very difficult to run, because if your party doesn't have any way to fly, they need to essentially like climb the fucking walls. So let's go to Area 31. Trap works. Is there rules about grease? The shaft is greased. Iron lever is down. Activates trap, raise the elevator. Trap's activated. Takes 10 seconds for the elevator to reach top. 10 seconds, 1 round. Okay. Secret door in the north wall is the easiest spot from this side. Elevator shaft. Here we go. Scaling the shaft is impossible without the aid of magic or the use of a climber's kit, because the walls are smooth and slick with mildew and the greasy iron chains are too thick and slippery to grasp. So yeah, you can't climb, so unless you have fly speed, there's no easy way for the group at the bottom to get up, and there's definitely no easy way for the group at the top to get down. And then once you're at the top, you are kind of fucked. It was 47 Spires of Ravenloft. Once you're at the top, you know, you're in this area, and the only way back down is these stairs that go to K21. Map. Main floor. K21 is, oh Jesus, right here. But that doesn't even go all the way down. It goes down to, so if you take those stairs, if you keep taking those stairs down, you end up, oh wait, what the fuck, it's these stairs. Are you shitting me? Is it seriously that easy? You just take the fucking spiral staircase right next to it? Can you not jump down the shaft the granite block uses to go down? So you could, so the problem with that is that you can't really get back into the shaft once you're at the top. There's no really easy way to do it. But apparently you just take the fucking spiral staircase all the way back down to where you started. It's that fucking easy. Jesus, this trap is dumb. So, I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. Yeah. Like, this literally goes to K21. Stupid. How long will that take? I don't know, like 30 seconds? Like it's like 300 feet or it's 200 feet. It's 200 feet of stairs. How long does it take you to go run down 200 feet of stairs? Whatever amount of time is the most annoying. Yeah, like, fuck. Like a minute? The real danger is that once you're at the top, you need to fight stuff. And the players might not realize, oh shit, well we can just run up these stairs to get all the way up there. Because they don't know where it goes exactly. So the players could very easily just go in the wrong direction and then fuck. Now you're running encounters designed for 5 players with 2 players. And you're running an encounter for 2 players while the other 3 players do nothing. That's what sucks. That's the part that's terrible. So that's my spiel. Thank you for bringing that up, Amber. And thank you everyone for being here. I hope you enjoy DM prep. I hope it's really enlightening. I hope it's actually helpful. Because it's helpful for me to actually like stand here and think about these things and go through them and write things down. But I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys figure out, how to run your games a little bit based on watching. And I hope you're entertained. And if you want to see how the session goes, check us out on Sunday at 1 p.m. EST when we play Curse of Strahd. We also have Jesus, I'm just fucking this up. If you're watching this on Twitch, check out our YouTube. We have every single video we've ever streamed. If you're watching this on YouTube, check us out on Twitch. We're live 4 times a week. You can watch the session that I just prepped on Sunday at 1 p.m. EST. We also have Odyssey of the Dragon Lords on Saturdays at 4 p.m. EST. We've got Rime of the Frost Maiden on Mondays at 6:30 p.m. EST. That's new. And then I obviously do DM prep on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Usually I do about an hour per campaign, but I've been here for an hour 45 and I'm just finishing Curse of Strahd. So that took a long time. What are you talking about? That needs updating. I already updated it. Shadows. Way ahead of you. We also have an Instagram, a Discord, and a Twitter. All the links are down below. If you're on Twitch, they're in the About. If you're on YouTube, they're in the description. And if you're watching me on Twitch right this moment, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna get some more water. I went through an entire quart of water over the course of the last hour and a half. And then I'll be back in just a few minutes to prep Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.